May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and throughout this month, ABC Action News will bring you a series of stories on this topic from people and organizations all across the Tampa Bay area. Since the beginning of the year, 10 Indian students have died across the country due to suicide, accidental overdoses, or disappearing and their bodies found days later. So there's a real concern now about students' mental health, especially within the Indian community. New tonight, I speak to an Indian student and an Indian psychiatrist about the changes they want to see.
When I was dealing with the things I was dealing with, it was hard to kind of find someone or a group of people or any sort of resource to really talk to.
Suraj Nijhawan, a University of Florida student, admits he struggled with his mental well-being, but afraid to talk about it, since most Indian families look down on the subject.
The other kid has depression, but everyone's not making fun of, but everyone's talking bad about it. Makes it seem like if I ever get it, to keep it silent, just keep it hidden. Don't even mention it. So that does put a big pressure, and in other words, is bottling up any emotion that you may have.
He also said there was intense pressure to do well in school, creating even more stress.
The only 3 words that really rung the bell was school comes first. And when someone says school comes first, it doesn't necessarily mean like join a sports team or join a club. It means get good grades. And a good grade is an A. Anything below an A, I will have to admit, is not seen as like meeting expectations.
Even his career was decided for him, as he was to be a doctor or an engineer.
Growing up, I was always told I'm going to be a doctor, and I even almost tricked myself in my brain that I'm going to be a doctor. I even set my whole sights on doing psychiatry as an adult. That was something I really wanted to do. And then the summer before college started, I switched to finance, and I would say it's one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life.
Many Indian American families hesitate to go get help.
Psychiatrist Dr. Krishan Batra says parents of Indian descent often don't approve of mental health assistance.
They don't go to therapy. There's a stigma behind going to ask for mental health. It's like a sign of weakness. And there's so much privacy, so much conservative culture that we grew up with, that we don't like to talk our thoughts and feelings to strangers.
Dr. Batra believes parents need to consider how their high academic expectations may be affecting their children.
Our Indian parents may not realize that these kids are under much more stress than when we were, with the culture of simplicity. This is so complex. Now, we have made good enough dollars. We are successful. Now, that doesn't mean that we know everything. We have to open our eyes and ears to the environmental acculturation for our kids.
He recommends parents pay attention to your kids' feelings throughout school, well before they go to college.
Parents need to have little more openness in listening to their kids' likes and dislikes, get involved and doing things together. They need to go on vacation together and spend time with their kids and laugh together. And that has been deficient in Indian American families.
And Nijhawan believes the Indian community needs to start talking openly about mental health.
In the modern day we live in, mental health is 50%, if not even more than 50% of importance to a kid, to a student. That's a big determining factor in many things.
If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide or worried about someone, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 for free. Confidential support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.